Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I want you to know that you are greatly appreciated. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. Now I'm going to talk about something that I believe will force the president's hand on stimulus. I'm going to outline a set of realities that exist in the political space right now, in the economic space right now. And I will tell you why I think some of this information will force the president's hand and will force the president to do something about the stimulus situation so that stimulus actually gets to the people. Exactly how things will unfold, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball with me, but I can tell you that there are political and economic realities that, again, will force the president's hand on stimulus. Reality number one: Republicans oppose $2,000 stimulus checks. So that is reality number one. Republicans are simply not going to be able to get behind any legislation, not only in the Senate but also in the House. I did do another video earlier today talking about the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who basically said he would not be supporting the unanimous vote that House Speaker Pelosi was trying to bring to the floor of the House tomorrow. So that is the first and the biggest hurdle. You've heard nothing. You've heard zip at the time I'm recording this video from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell about the president's bombshell announcement, where the president said that he wanted the COVID relief bill to be redone to include $2,000 stimulus checks. The Senate Majority Leader has not chimed in on that because it's this bill was put together in a very painstaking fashion. And I did do another video where I talked about the financial argument about the pork, the wastage in the bill. $54 billion has been wasted, or $54 billion have been wasted, as per the Festivus report from Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky. Here on your screen is the Festivus report, and it's a rather interesting read, I'll tell you, and I did cover this in a lot of detail in another video on our channel. But if you have $54 billion that are being wasted by a government that collects $3.5 trillion a year, that's like saying I'm wasting $54 and I'm getting $3,500. If you get $3,500 and you waste $54, I want you to tell me whether you think that is too much or too little. And I think that this whole discussion about excessive spending, it's definitely something we need to be concerned about as a country. I have a 5-year-old son, I have a 2-year-old daughter. I do believe that my son and daughter, as they grow up, as well as all the parents watching this video, your children will pay for debt in the future. But in this moment, in this horrific economic crisis, is this the time to be arguing about pork when we're in the middle of a severe pandemic, when we're in the middle of a dire economic situation for millions of our fellow Americans, 20 million of our fellow Americans on unemployment? Is this the time to be able to talk about things like this? The second factor that really bothers me is that long-term unemployment is on the rise. That's the number two factor. Long-term unemployment is on the rise. This is dangerous. This is devastating. The third factor, the labor force participation rate is falling. Yes, the labor force participation rate is falling. What this means is that almost 4 million of our fellow Americans have simply stopped working. Now, in case you're wondering, well, why they stopped working? Well, people have their reasons. People have to take care of children because they can't file childcare. People have to take care of the elderly. There are a number of reasons why individuals just have to drop out of the workforce. This is devastating to the economy. So that is the number 3 reason. Number 4, small businesses. Small businesses are shutting down. When small businesses shut down, they impact the local economy. They create joblessness. They create unemployment. And this is devastating to local economies. Small businesses account for almost 60% of all the jobs in the United States of America. So that's number 4. Number 5, states. Many states are struggling. States are struggling financially. I want to be clear. Some states are doing much better than others, but there are many states that are struggling. States do need money for vaccine distribution. The next point, and you'll see this article on your screen from the Wall Street Journal, which reads, U.S. household spending drops for the first time in 7 months. Yes, US household spending drops for the first time in 7 months. So November spending fell by 0.4% as incomes dropped by 1.1%. Individuals are not spending. The economy is slowing down. This is devastating for the country. This is devastating for the economy. As the effect of all the federal aid programs, the $600 a week federal booster, the lost wages assistance program started to wear off, individuals started cutting back on spending, which further slows down the economy, which impacts the economic recovery. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality have been the most severely impacted as a direct result of this pandemic. You'll see this chart on your screen, which shows you US household income and spending during the COVID crisis. You'll start to see the numbers from February all the way through to November, the most recent data that we have. You'll see the section in blue that demonstrates saving, and you'll start to see how that is slowly reducing, and overall the amount of money that is being spent is actually reducing. And this is a bad sign, because this means that things are slowly shutting down and people are essentially deciding not to spend anymore. Here's a chart that shows you consumer spending, and you'll start to see that that gray area corresponds to the recession when we got impacted by COVID. Let's take a look at personal income. The reason you saw a big surge in personal income is because of the $600 a week federal booster. No one was really complaining in April, May, June, and July. But in August, once the effect wore off, people were waiting for the lost wages assistance program. Once that wore off, people started waiting. And you'll see that section in that red color that corresponds to consumer spending. You'll see consumer spending dropped significantly, then started to come back up. And now if you look at the right side of that chart in that red color, you'll start to see that it's starting to decline now, because people are starting to feel nervous and people are starting to feel unsure about the economy, especially with all this uncertainty with the stimulus negotiations. And this factor, and I've alluded to this earlier in this video, is potentially the biggest one. If President Trump does not sign this bill, or if he ends up vetoing it, by the way, if he ends up vetoing it, that will set up a chain reaction of events, which I'll cover in just a minute. If President Trump does not sign the bill, then 14 million of our fellow Americans who are dependent on the PUA program and the PEUC program, which is expiring this weekend. This is a deadline that we are staring at right now. 14 million of our fellow Americans will be looking at homelessness, will be unable to feed themselves. You'll see this article on your screen from the Washington Post, which reads, "Stalling recovery raises the stakes for Trump's new demands on economic relief bill." If the president does not sign the $900 billion stimulus package, up to 14 million of our fellow Americans will lose unemployment aid after Christmas. We're talking hunger. We're talking homelessness. This is an unbelievable situation that we've never ever had to face before in the modern era. On your screen, you'll see a tweet from Mike DeBonis, who covers Congress for the Washington Post. And Mike said, as per 3 people who were on a Republican conference call today, you'll see this tweet on your screen, the GOP leader, meaning the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, said that he was in President Trump's corner. Now, this is super interesting and super confusing, because what Kevin McCarthy did was basically say he was not going to support Speaker Pelosi's demand for the $2,000 stimulus checks, a unanimous consent tomorrow. But at the same time, he said he's in President Trump's corner. Now, how can you justify both of those realities when President Trump wants $2,000 stimulus checks and Speaker Pelosi said, let's do it? Well, the answer to that is, you ready? Politics. Once again, you know what the answer is? Politics. Just unbelievable that politics impacts all of this. So according to Mike DeBonis, a better deal is possible, according to the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who, by the way, is a Republican from the state of California. There's House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Hello, how are you, House Minority Leader? So Kevin McCarthy said that it's unclear, so he has no idea whether the president will sign or veto. This is just from a couple of hours ago. He has no idea whether the president will sign or veto. So the UC request, a unanimous consent request, he called it a stunt. Yep. And he said that Republicans are working up a unanimous consent request of their own, forcing Democrats to object. This is just unbelievable. President Trump wants something. Now, House Speaker Pelosi like, let's do it, because obviously she's going to see an opportunity to gain political mileage. I did do another video essentially highlighting the fact that this was stimulus checkmate. It's now time to say, let's just get it done. Who cares who takes credit? But no. This is politics. And the House Minority Leader does not want Speaker Pelosi to take credit. Instead, he wants to do what she's doing, but make it seem as if it's their idea, because the Republicans want to propose their own unanimous consent, and they want Democrats to object, just like Republicans objected to the Democrats. This is unbelievable. If both sides want one thing, why do you have to object? Then say the same thing yourself so that somebody else objects. That is what the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is suggesting. And Jeff Stein, the reporter from the Washington Post, said to take a step back, it's unclear, but things are looking like they could potentially fall apart, everybody. And so, what Jeff Stein is suggesting is that number one, Trump does indeed go through with his threat and veto. That's what Jeff Stein is suggesting. Number two, the bill goes back to Washington, D.C., goes back to Congress. The Republican Party blocks the $2,000 stimulus checks. The bill completely falls apart. And then we have the expiration of the unemployment benefits. We have the expiration of the eviction moratorium. We potentially, what Jeff Stein didn't mention is we potentially also have a government shutdown on New Year's Eve after Christmas, weeks before the inauguration of the next president. Now, this is what I think is likely to happen. I think the data that I gave you at the start of this video is likely to force the hand of the president. I want to emphasize again, I do not have a crystal ball. Do you see this? What you're looking at right now is an imaginary crystal ball. See, it's gone. Let's take a look at the crystal ball again. Is this a real crystal ball? It's imaginary. Okay, so I want to be clear. It is my hope and it is my estimation that the numbers I gave you, the data I gave you at the start of this video, will force the president's hand, and the president will eventually course correct, and we should hopefully have stimulus to those who need it the most, as this bill intended. Is it a perfect bill? No. Life isn't perfect. Does it have some pork? Yes. But it's got $54 of pork for every $3,500 of revenue that the United States government collects. Remember, the United States government collected $3.5 trillion or collects $3.5 trillion on average. In fact, in my previous video, I estimated it was $3 trillion. And if there's $54 billion of waste, as per Rand Paul's Festivus report, is that too much? That is for you to decide. Let me know what you think of my assessment and the fact that I think these things will force the president's hand. And in the end, this is all politics. This is a game of chess, as you can see. Everyone's playing chess. We might think that they're playing three-dimensional or four-dimensional chess, but at this moment in time, a lot of it is games. A lot of it is partisanship. A lot of it is opportunistic, despite the tremendous show of cooperation that we saw in the last few days, because everything has been blown up by the recent actions of the president, and everything can indeed be fixed quickly because the president has been known to backtrack on his position before. That's where things stand, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I appreciate you being a viewer. I appreciate you being a subscriber. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. And if you want to get on our SMS alerts list, just get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to SMS alerts list moving forward. Now, keep in mind that when you get on our SMS alerts list, you'll get important news, you'll get breaking news, and you'll get announcements about any future training programs on investment and how to grow your money. You'll get information about those types of training programs if you're interested. You can opt out of the SMS alerts at any point in time that you want. Now, if you want, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and then you'll get added to our email list going forward. You can opt out of the SMSs or the emails at any point in time. Now, the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. Our goal is to help you overcome the cycle of poverty. Here's the cycle of poverty on your screen. This is the thing that holds most of us back. Because once you're in a cycle of poverty, it's very hard to break out of that. It's very hard to get to the next level financially. I will help you get to the next level financially because I have lived through the cycle of poverty and now I live the American dream. I want to teach you how to live the American dream. Now, keep in mind that YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. So all I ask you to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. So go ahead and bookmark our channel. This way you can visit the home page of our channel and check out our videos at any point in time that you want. So make sure you do that. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So follow us on Instagram, and then you'll get exclusive news as an Instagram follower. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So make sure you follow us on Twitter for real-time alerts and breaking news on Twitter. Also, please comment below. One of the things I'm personally extremely proud of is our community. Our community is intelligent, it's growing, it's bipartisan, it's respectful. So comment below, engage in a healthy debate with our fellow Americans. I want you to know that for me personally, it's not about the red or the blue, it's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I am American. We are all Americans first. So we need to unite, we need to be able to heal as a country, and we need to be able to move forward. That is what the Ignition Time channel is all about. Please share this video with 2 friends or family members, just 2 friends or family members. That would mean a lot to me. And finally, if you learned something new from this video, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. Gently ignite that subscribe button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.